news for Florida's Ron DeSantis. A bill that he championed, which would have loosened child labor laws in Florida, has died in the state Senate. Oops. Now, the bill would have permitted 16 and 17-year-olds to work overnight on school days and work longer than an 8-hour day before a school day. So now the bill would also allow some 14 and 15-year-olds being allowed to work those hours. Gee, I wonder if it would have been poor people that were going to end up working in these jobs. Very likely, yes. Now, the proposal was touted by DeSantis as a way to use teenagers, kids, as a replacement for undocumented workers that have either voluntarily left the state or have been detained or deported by ICE. Now, the bill will also scrap the required 30-minute meal breaks and allow children as young as 14 who are homeschooled or enrolled in virtual school to work overnight shifts. Hey, you kids with your growing minds and bodies, you don't need no lunch break. Really? Are you sure about that?
Really?
It's not a salami sandwich. It's a viable baby in the womb.
I don't know why I played that, but we're talking about sandwiches here. We're talking about lunch breaks. Now, proponents of the bill said, well, hey, look, we need to get the kids out to the fields, okay? Because we have a labor shortage. Can't have that. Yes, but again, it's only going to be the poor kids that they're going to send into the fields. So, but, you know, those proponents are like, well, it ain't going to be my kids. We're rich, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, well, whatever. Hey, if they're exploited, oh, well, welcome to capitalism. Now, thankfully, this did not work, okay? There was enough people that were like, I don't know about this, all right? Probably not a good idea, okay? Kids should be in school. They should be allowed to be kids. We literally work the entirety of our lives. So you know what? Kids should be able to enjoy those years where we're not required to slave away in the fields. Okay? Now, the Guardian quoted Alexis Tsoukalis, a senior policy analyst at an independent research group, the Florida Policy Institute, as saying about this, quote, it's essentially treating teens who have developing bodies and minds like adults. And this will allow employers to schedule them for unlimited hours, overnight and without breaks. And this is during the school year. Yeah, that he correctly explained the bill. Florida's Immigrant Coalition spokesperson, Thomas Kennedy, said that this is basically a form of exploiting minors, which is absolutely something the Republican Party loves to do. I mean, if it's not exploitation, is it really a Republican plan? Now, here's what he said. We've been saying since 2023 that this is a way for them to exploit minors. It was when they passed this large anti-immigrant omnibus, and the same year that they tried to pass this first law gutting child labor protection. The only short-term answer to workforce shortages has always been net migration. And they'll never go for that because of their politics. So their only answer is to widen the parameters of who can work. And you either go older or you go younger. And they chose to go younger. Look, I'm one of those weird people that thinks that maybe life should be about more than just making money for rich people. You know, maybe life, weird, I know, life should be enjoyed. And we shouldn't always constantly be hustling and grinding just to frickin' survive. Barely. But I don't know, I'm a weirdo. Apparently I'm like some sort of weird socialist, you know, communist, whatever. Okay. Wait.
Pink-haired communist.
No, that's it. That's it. I must be. Okay. Look, this is one of the reasons I'm against this, okay? I like people to live their lives. I want kids to be able to get an education so that they can actually have good jobs in the future. Okay. That said, this bill had been approved by the Florida House back in April, largely along party lines. Okay. And I remember reporting about that when that happened. Now, again, it failed in the Senate, which is great. In fact, here's first, let me give you a quote here from Republican State Senator Jay Collins, who was the sponsor of the bill. He said that the measure was about parental rights. Oh, yeah, parental rights. Sure. He said we should let them say what's best for their kids at 16 to 17-year-olds. That's what we're saying by this. No, because this actually doesn't expand parental rights at all. What it does is that it expands employers' rights. That's right. To underpay their workers. I mean, what happens if that family that relies on this extra income, you know, from their 16, 17-year-old kid working, and the employer starts saying, well, hey, look, you're going to need to start working more overnights. Well, okay, but I got to go to school tomorrow. And yes, I do need the money, but I also need to get an education so that I can do something better than just working at this particular job, right? Which is likely going to be, you know, a fast food job, service industry stuff. I would like to get a better job. Well, that employer can say, well, you got to come in or else you're not going to have a job. Well, again, if your family does rely on some of that income, as some do, well, then you're not going to really be in a position to say no. Okay. And that's one of the problems. There's so much potential here for exploitation. And that's not even saying that, you know, or addressing the fact that exploitation has been here the whole time. I mean, undocumented workers were the ones being exploited before. Okay. So, I mean, for example, hey, you know, if you work overnight or do this thing without the, without this particular safety gear that would cost me more money to actually acquire. So, you know, you don't need it. Go ahead and just fix this thing, do this machine, whatever, without the safety gear, or else we're going to tell ICE. Okay. We're going to report you. Now, that is technically illegal for employers to do, but they get away with it all the time. And now with Donald Trump just deporting people freaking willy-nilly, there's even more room for exploitation of fear, okay? Look, here's the thing. One of the big reasons that undocumented labor has been so prevalent in the workforce is that Americans just don't want to do the jobs. Why? I mean, those jobs suck. That's why there's a labor shortage. It's hot, dirty work. There's no benefits, and the pay is not really all that good. Okay, I know personally, I have picked strawberries as a kid, okay, as a teenager, I should say. So, and let me tell you, it is not good work. It is not easy work. It is difficult. There are quotas that you have to fill, and I worked right alongside what were likely undocumented workers. So I know that they were doing it. And, you know, I was right there, right alongside them, and they were fast, much faster than me. Okay. But here's the thing. When I went to pick up my check, I noticed, and it stuck with me for all these years, I noticed the way that the owner had talked about these workers. And it was bad. Calling the people that I worked alongside that were faster than me lazy. Yeah. And I remember hearing another person who was in that room saying something along the lines of, well, that's what you get for hiring those people. Those people. So, yeah, let me just say this.
The Republican Party's racist.
Okay. Instead of helping those workers to not be exploited, Ron DeSantis was just like, well, you know what? Let's just make the kids do it. Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll work out great. Because understand that these people are all about needing to exploit someone. If not the immigrants, then it's your kids. If not the kids, it's the minorities. If not the minorities, the elderly. Eventually, they go down the list and get everyone else to do the work except for the wealthy. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.